Hello and welcome to The Right Hand. We are Ruben Allen. We are law firm consultants. Uh, we cater mainly in the space of minority owned and women owned solo attorney law firms, small law firms, practice groups, and also mid-sized firms as well. We work in conjunction with Marshall Graham, which is attorney and executive search firm. We're all under the same parent umbrella. And this is the Facing Your Fear series. This is the third episode, third chapter, however you want to say it. So we're going to jump right into it. So you have your capital after you decided to open up shop. You have your capital. You found the money. You also created a business development plan, and you put that plan in action. And you're starting to track clients now. Clients are starting to come in, ringing, emailing, however it is that you bring them in. So now you have more business than you can handle on your own, or more than your team can handle. So what do you do now? Now what you have to do is build a team. So how do you build that team? What I often advise law firms to do, owners of law firms to do, is to, and I've talked about this and written about this in the past, is to finding people with like mind. And what I mean like mind, I mean similar philosophies on work, product, work ethic, work philosophy, someone with similar core values, someone with similar personal characteristics, somewhat similar. I always say, find someone like yourself, but not an exact copy, because you don't want that person thinking exactly like you, or those people thinking exactly like you. You want to find diversity in experiences, diversity in background, diversity in perspective, to kind of bounce ideas off of it and work and flow as a team. You don't want everybody to think the exact same way, because then there's no one to, play the counter or argue the counter or bring out the counter in any situation at any given time. So I always say, find that person that's like you, but not that carbon copy. Now, what you also want to do, when I say find diverse experiences, because someone from, say, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, African American gentleman from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is going to have a different perspective growing up, or different worldview than someone who may be, say, a Latina from New York City, an Asian from Denver, Colorado. So you guys may have similar core philosophies, similar core value beliefs, but you're also going to bring that difference in perspective and life experience as well. And that always suits well for law firms, because your clients aren't all going to be the same. They're going to come from different places, different backgrounds, different experiences, different situations for the most part. But before you even start looking for people, I always say, take the time and write down the skill sets that you want to target, that you want your new team member to have. Because not everyone is going to have everything that you want. Write kind of a wish list, and then decide what you can live with and what you can't live without. Prime example is, maybe you're a litigation attorney and you're excellent in trial, but maybe you don't enjoy writing it as much. You're excellent in court appearances and you just don't enjoy that writing. Maybe you find someone who really enjoys the writing, and maybe that particular person might not be as gung-ho about court appearances. So it's kind of a yin and yang. You play off each other. Also with other team members, you may have attorneys that are good in motion, where another attorney is better in the actual trial situation. So it's just different things you can do. Someone may be stronger in one area than the other, and you find these skills to complement each other and kind of make the team a whole, because there are people who are good at a lot of things, but no one's excellent or the best at everything. Everyone has their weakness. So now you want to write this down and kind of make that wish list and play off that wish list a little bit. So, but here's the question. How do you find these people? Um, there are several ways to find people. One is networking. Who do you know? Do you know anybody? I have an opening for a litigation attorney. Do you know anybody? I have an opening for transactional real estate attorney. Do you know anybody? Do you know anybody who has experience with intellectual property? Um, kind of like that. Two, you can use social media. Talked about this in both the capital and business development. You set aside money, you create that plan. Social media is part of that plan. You're not just targeting clients, you also can target future team members to attract them into the firm. Um, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, however you feel best or you feel where your clientele is. The Facebook crowd is a little bit older, as opposed to the Instagram, TikTok, Twitter crowd, kind of in the middle. There's job boards, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Monster, LinkedIn. Maybe you post ads, maybe you find people in that way and bring people in. And then there is recruiting. People such as myself, people such as Marshall Graham, who, when you may be having trouble finding that right person, we're here to help you. Conversations that I often have are attorneys who are frustrated because they run ads, they post ads, they do interviews, they bring people in, they hire them, and 3 weeks to a month later, person isn't exactly what they wanted. They feel a little bit frustrated. It's because a number of factors. One, many times attorneys are not trained in professional interviewing. They lack that skill. And as attorneys, we always think we can do everything. Just because you can question someone in court doesn't mean you're very good at questioning people as far as interviewing and bringing them into the fold. That's why recruiters are important, because this is our job. This is what we do, people like myself. What we also do is we've heard a lot of stories, met a lot of people. A lot of times candidates are more forthright and upfront with us, because we're not the employer. And we can kind of dig down a little bit deeper, find what's behind the gaps in employment, find what's really behind the move. Because, a lot of times candidates give you a move. Oh, I'm just looking for a better opportunity. I'm just looking for a better opportunity. I'm just looking for a better opportunity. But what's behind that? We can dig in and ask those questions where they're more comfortable explaining these things to us than they are to the actual employer. And so you can find people through a recruiter as well. Now that you found your team, you've hired them, what do? You have to manage them now. And my quick philosophy on management is kind of team members are like family members. And I always say to entrepreneurs and business owners, and even in corporations, managers of corporations, treat your team members like family members. And I know some people have a bad relationship with family members, but let's just pretend your relationship with your family is good. So treat them like family members. And when I say this is, I have more than one child. I don't treat my children the same. Some are more hands-on. I'm hands-on with, others hands-off. Some situations are more hands-on, some situations are more hands-off. And the same goes for team members. Some people like to be, and micromanagers always has a negative connotation. Some people like to be guided. They feel more comfortable guided at every step. Some are more hands-off, more autonomous. You can kind of leave them alone, let them be, and they'll come to you when they have questions that are pressing, needs that are pressing. And you have to learn these personalities and what they're able to do, what they're not able to do, and kind of work within those parameters. Now you have a general guideline as far as your policies and procedures that you created, to which every team member must follow, every employee must follow. But within that, everyone is managed to their personality, to their skill set, to their talents. I think that's the best way when you're managing people. And also communication is definitely key, and we will go into that in a later episode. Communication with your team members, your employees, your colleagues, your peers is of the ultimate importance. So with that, your firm is not going to be successful. All right, that's my little stay on building a team. See you next time on the right hand.